Good afternoon, and thank you for tuning in once again. This is Father Marcus from the Costa Blanca Anglican Chaplaincy, just sharing a few thoughts with you. And still sad that we can't gather together in person, that we can't be in church, that we can't celebrate the Eucharist together in real life, but sending thoughts and love and prayers and blessings to all of you going through whatever it is that you're going through. My last little offering, which was based on Lost in Wonder, Love and Praise, obviously hit the spot with quite a few of you because I've had lots of feedback from it. Many people telling me that that was a beautiful hymn, Love Divine or Love's Excelling, and they had it at their wedding. And lots of people really grasping that idea of, in our prayer, getting into that zone when we are lost in wonder, love and praise. But a number of you enjoying the hymn so much and asking more questions about it, and in particular the last verse. That's where that Lost in Wonder, Love and Praise comes from. So let me just read it to you. I haven't got a singing voice, so I'm not going to sing it, but let me just read this last verse from you. Changed from glory into glory, till in heaven we take our place, till we cast our crowns before thee, lost in wonder, love and praise. People asking about that change from glory into glory, and they didn't necessarily quite get it and wondered where it came from. It comes from St. Paul writing in the second book of Corinthians, and he's talking about the difference between the new covenant and the old covenant, and the relationship that we have with God through the person of Jesus Christ, and the relationship that did exist before that when people listened to Moses. You remember the story of Moses going up the mountain and coming back down with the tablets and the messages from God, and how his face glowed with glory because he was in the presence of God, and how he covered his face. A lot of the thinking has been that he covered his face to hide that great glow so that people could look at him and listen to him. But there's another school of thought that says he actually covers his face when he finishes speaking, because he doesn't want to draw people's attention to the fact that the glory fades and it disappears. And what Paul is saying is, when he's speaking in Corinthians, is that old glory was there and it was very real, but it faded, and it faded for a whole range of reasons. And that was that people listened to the message, but they didn't necessarily stick with it. And they got close to God, but then they moved away, and they found something wonderful in the presence of God, but then they let their ego get the better of them again. And they started concentrating on the things that were not of God. And Paul is saying that's how it has been. And it can be different for us now, because we understand what has happened. We understand that we can let things get in between us and the glory of God. And most of the things that we let get in the way are to do with our ego. Our ego is not just that bit of us that wants to be great performers and make a great big song and dance. It's not just that stuff that makes us want to think that we are great or special or unique. Not that stuff that is about status or wealth or self-importance. Our ego is also those little things that cause us to think highly of ourselves in such a way that we may judge someone else. When we judge someone, we look down on them, even if we think that we're not. If we don't forgive someone, we're thinking that we're worthy of hanging on to that thing rather than letting it go. And ego can really get in the way, and it's to do with our subconscious, and sometimes we just don't even know it's there. When we're comparing ourselves to other people or comparing things and not resting in the moment, we're letting our ego get in the way. When we're longing for something else rather than just accepting that we are loved exactly as we are, when we're trying to prove ourselves, when we're trying to ridicule somebody else, when we're thinking that other people have got to think like us, that's our ego getting in the way. And what Paul is saying is that if we gaze on Christ, because we have the gift of faith, we have a sense of glory about us. But if we gaze on Christ and allow Christ to influence us completely, we can be changed from our glory into his glory and become Christ-like. And so the message in that love divine and love's excelling, the glory, change from glory into glory. In fact, we need to read the verse that comes before that. Finish then thy new creation, pure and spotless let us be. Let us see thy great salvation perfectly restored in thee. Paul is saying as a prayer, the hymn is saying as a prayer to God to finish what he has brought about in creation and bring it to a conclusion so that you and we can let go of our ego, let go of the things that get in the way between us and God, and embrace our faith, which allows us to discern the grace of God elsewhere. And then when we're free of all that stuff, we can be spotless, and then we prepare ourselves to be with him in heaven, and we change from this earthly glory into his heavenly glory. It's a beautiful, beautiful hymn, and we do very well to contemplate it and to think about it. And it's also great for us to think about what Paul is saying. If we're not careful, the closeness that we can feel when we get close to God can fade. Do you remember that last bit? Lost in wonder, love and praise. When we're praying and we're being still and when we're being quiet and we get into the zone and we feel that lost in wonder, love and praise, we get there and we're in the zone, but then we're going to come out of it. We're going to come out of it again and get back to normality. Moses up in the mountain, his face glowing, but he had to come back down the mountain. And the trick is to get that sense of feeling the presence of God in our ordinary lives. And we do that just by allowing God to be part of who we are. Anyway, that's enough from me. I hope you're feeling okay. Looking forward to when we can get together in whatever form that will be. And in the meantime, bless you, bless you, bless you. See you soon.